It's summertime, the shirts come off, the expectations pile up. But do the muscles make the man? Every guy seems to be defining what their thing will be this summer to make them stand out. Leaning down and showing the abs, hairy chest and body hair, mustache and the perfect summer haircut, big biceps and deciding what constitutes a shirt, big glutes and deciding how short the shorts can go. Some fix the hairline with surgery and prep for the summer. Others are getting in the groove of their steroid or enhancement routine. Is your thing this summer the perfect sunglasses or the outfit of black and white that convey the perfect mix of power and mystique? Whatever your thing is to be iconic this summer, does any of it make you a better man? Does it make you a more desirable man? What's up? The name's Trey. I was always a nerd, not an athlete. Let's dive in. For me, summer is a blast, particularly in New York City, but in the past it was always a weekly cycle of ups and downs. Trying to cut weight for the perfect shoulder to waist ratio, then overdoing it on the weekends drinking. Buying clothes that showcase my body, then seeing another guy do it better, and returning to the shopping apps. Posting a picture on Instagram with body hair, and then deciding that it would look better if I cut it all off. I'd get to the end of summer thinking that was good, that was exhausting, and I'll do even better next time. At its best, these cycles are fun and break up monotony. At their worst, they distract from what's actually important in life. What does it mean to be a worthy man? And how do we find the line of good enough this summer when everything, including the skin and the sweat, are on display? Today we'll crack open our masculine goals and our anxieties around masculinity. I'll share my top 3 arguments for and against hypermasculinity versus femininity in gay and bisexual men. And as I do in this camp series, I'll spend 48 hours creating music on this theme in an effort to provide some cathartic release from the pressures of masculinity. I'll also be doing some body painting, and I'm excited for you all to see what it is at the very end of this, if you can't guess already. So many people are talking about masculinity these days. How a hot body for a guy 10 years ago is considered mid now. How Instagram filters evolved into Facetune, which evolved into social media use of AI and fake profiles even for men. There are conversations around how safe and how strong a man can be, such as viral questions like a man or a bear, or 100 men versus a gorilla. There's the prominence of softcore porn on social media, which seems to be a form of peacocking, whereas just a decade ago it felt like men had to hide their package or keep it a mystery rather than putting it on display. There's a rise of gay-for-pay models suggesting a higher demand or addiction to masculinity, especially in the gay world. Plus, many are discussing the male loneliness epidemic. You might be thinking, why do we talk about masculinity and gender expression so much? It's not that big of a deal. It's a big deal because we live in an unstable and advancing world. People and men are in need of guidance, and there aren't too many male role models, gay or straight, that are out there. This leads to guys looking in the wrong place for direction. Outside of trans and gender dysphoria contexts, many men treat masculinity like a deity, as if there's a Bible of masculinity that will guide them to happiness. And like religion, there's often hatred and mistreatment of people with different beliefs. We need to discuss this false god of masculinity and its impacts on others. Now, these days, and more optimistically, what I do value about masculinity is that people are no longer saying that work maketh the man or the job makes the man, which are such tired refrains from my parents' generation and the generations before. Masculinity these days doesn't seem to be defined by how much you slave away in the office or the factory, or how much power you exert over your employees like some cold-hearted executive. But we have generally traded one definition of masculinity, of the interior being vicious, heartless, apathetic, for a definition more based on the exterior. In many ways, this is even truer in the gay community. Although it embraces femininity more than straight men, the community is largely about serving looks. If you can't serve looks, are you good enough? Are you man enough? Now, I think the upside is that the former definition of masculinity is rooted in capitalism and the American dream, pulling yourself up by the bootstraps. This is a zero-sum game, which means that everyone can't win. For some to win, others must suffer. Not everyone can be the top dog. Versus our more modern, albeit toxic definition of masculinity is a little different. Outside of disability, everyone can win. 99% of men can have great bodies if so they choose. So that's a great thing, right? This attitude is actually what leads us to physique inflation. If everyone looks good, then no one looks good, meaning that the bar must be raised in order to stand out. It's like economics. You print extra money and hand it to everyone, then the value of the dollar goes down. It's a Ouroboros, a snake eating its tail. We find a solution to the problem by making it harder for everyone else. The trap is that pursuing masculinity shouldn't be a goal for every man. Here, when I say masculinity, I'm speaking of attributes like power and control, which we do attribute to men who meet certain exterior standards, such as muscle definition or clothes. Alternatively, some guys will do much better by embracing softness, and do better in careers that require those skills. This is water, by the way. The prior definition of masculinity made a lot of men feel like they would never meet the standard, which was actually good because it caused them to pursue their own destiny. A guy realizes he's never going to be the top dog, the head honcho, so he pursues his own path outside of masculinity. The current definition feels too achievable for many guys. They think if I'm at the gym for 10 hours, then I'll be masculine and I'll get everything I want. Which won't happen, but they pursue a misleading path towards masculinity in the hope that it'll bring them happiness. Let's dive a little more into LGBTQ specific perspectives. Gender is a performance, and many gay, bi, and queer men have played all the roles. A classic storyline from a gay man is that first, he embraces his masculinity in order to mask his sexuality. Then he begins to nearly caricaturize femininity after he comes out to showcase the new person that he is. Then he pulls back to embrace a more nuanced blend of masculinity and femininity. And even so, there still might be code switching even when you've been out for years. Acting gayer around certain friends by using more gay mannerisms and catchphrases. Or acting more Masc on dating apps. And switching it all up when a camera comes out. You might feel like you're code switching so much that you're exhausted. I've definitely had moments around certain people or when I'm at parties when I felt very aware that I'm performing gender. Often it's overperforming femininity to entertain the gays, or overperforming masculinity when I'm around straights. And it feels like an out-of-body experience. You might feel attacked by others for your gender expression. You're trying too hard to be masculine, they'll tell you, like there's some onslaught on masculinity when really you're just being yourself. Or you'll hear, this guy is too femme or too gay for me. Especially for these people, but also for anyone who's considering how they want to come across this summer. Here are my top 3 arguments for building up or defending your masculinity this summer, as well as my top 3 arguments for performing more or defending your feminine qualities. An interesting argument for masculinity. I'm a gay man who wants a man, not a woman who wants a man, not a half man who wants a man, a man. This is interesting to me because you fight so hard to become a gay man, which means a man who likes a man, and then people will tell you to be a little less manly. I'm not sure how that always adds up. If you want to be a queer person who likes a man, maybe there's a different definition that is needed than gay, but gay is a specific thing, and I think that's okay to be gay. The second argument for masculinity is all about image. It protects you. It's code switching. It helps you blend in. Masculinity for a man can feel safe because people trust what they can see. Pick where it didn't happen. And when you have a masculine exterior, that's something people can see and trust. Even people who are homophobic will respect a masculine presentation just a little more. Numerically, gays cite preferring a more masculine partner. In general, masculinity has a currency. It helps you get the things that you want. Now, there may be a cost, but it still produces. A third argument is that masculine tendencies can be toxic, but will also protect you in this difficult world. Feminine mentalities are often described by lots of emotions, empathy, and prioritizing others over the self. In today's world where there's a new major headline every single day, many feel that their emotions are tearing them apart seeing what's happening. It's way too difficult to stay committed to your goals when your friends, when your people, when your community are in need. Depression kicks in when you feel like you have to be a mother to other people. And of course, men can feel these things, but traditional masculinity prioritizes rational thinking. This allows one to compartmentalize rather than succumbing to their emotions. Trying to gain masculine ways of thinking is probably unhealthy if that means that you're burying your emotions. But if you're the type of guy who's innately like this, or your boyfriend is pressuring you to become more emotional, it might please you to know that your masculine mentality is keeping you safe from feeling all the mental burdens of the world. And here's a few arguments for femininity. As I said earlier, masculinity continues to change. It's changed in the past and it will again in the future. If you've defined your entire life's goal about getting huge muscles because you believe that's going to make you more masculine, what about when the day when muscles are no longer in? What are you going to do? How is that going to affect your attitude and how you treat other people? For other men in the past who thought that masculinity meant taking what you want and not taking no as an answer, then the Me Too movement hits you. What do? You have failed because you gave in too much to masculinity. And of course, femininity is a moving target too. If you're building your life around feminine qualities, that can also lead you down a path that's unfavorable in the end. Things will always be changing in the world, but it's better to create ambitions around things that are less fickle. The second argument is that femininity helps to signal who you are to your people. What this really means is less coming out. For me, as a person who's a little more masculine presenting, a lot of people think that I'm just some straight guy. Yes, it's great to have the privilege to code switch if so I choose. But there have even been moments when I'm at a gay bar and guys are like, "Get out of here, you don't belong here." And I'm like, "You don't know who I am." There's definitely a hidden beauty of being overtly queer. It reduces the cognitive load of having to decide when and who you show yourself to. The third is that femininity is more fluid. It's more compassionate and open. It's more functional in a world where everything is changing. The political climate, the workplace as AI enters how we socialize and date. To thrive, men should embrace more flexible traits instead of being stubborn and unflinching, which are qualities that may have been more apt for a different time in our history. Perhaps the takeaway is that there are pros and cons for different choices and expressions. There is no one best way to exist because the world will continue changing. And with that, humans will need to find ways to adapt through means of expression. We'll jump into the final point about the meaning of strength after I dive a little into some music. The goal is to digest some of this information as we peer into masculinity through a different lens with art. 2 days ago, I began creating brand new music for a challenge of creating a song about masculinity in 48 hours while keeping it smart, sexy, and cool. I'm done with the music, just about done with this. One last stripe to go. And can you tell what it is? It is a rainbow, yes, big surprise. Let's get a little close up. It's not too bad. Actually, I did this last year, but I never actually wore it out. So I was thinking maybe I just would test it again, see if I still like how it looks. And maybe this year I'll actually wear it out to the Pride Festival in Manhattan. Let me know what you think of this look in the comments. All right, let's get to the music.
I know I'm chasing the stars and the fall from the bar. I know I'm chasing the stars and the fall from the bar. It's like I'm chasing the stars and the fall from the bar. Like I'm chasing the North Star. Make your face, you make your fades in. Make your plates and watch it take shape. Hit the weights and play the game and watch it wait and feel amazing. Make the moves up to the toes. Make the moan like tie your rope too close to the sun. Go from broken this bitch, the man's a glitch. Bigger is better, the bigger the needs. Sick of the beats, the bigger the drinks. Bigger life, thicker skin, I'll take it all. Got to sin with the tin in the bathroom straw. So more dreams of fantasy. I'll strip and tease you lately. The life that we all like is blinding lights. You can't find me, I'm up so high. I know I'm chasing the stars and the far from the bar. I know I'm chasing the stars and the far from the bar. It's like I'm chasing the stars and the far from the bar. Like I'm chasing them, like I'm no star. I know I'm chasing the stars and the far from the bar. I know I'm chasing the stars and the far from the bar. It's like I'm chasing the stars and the far from the bar. Like I'm chasing them, like I'm no star. Chasing the sun, chasing the strobe lights, chasing the fun and hope I won't die. If the smile's a sign I'm alright, unless the devil's in the sky is all mine. The ritual to be so cool, I'm back to school. All these kids looking sick, I'm never a fool. The rat race persists in a new fit. The fast lane's got traction, no happiness. So more dreams of fantasy. I'll strip and tease humanity. The life that we all like is blinding lights. I can't find me, I'm up so high. I know I'm chasing the stars and the far from the bar. I know I'm chasing the stars and the far from the bar. It's like I'm chasing the stars and the far from the bar. I'm chasing that like a North Star. I know I'm chasing the stars and the far from the bar. I know I'm chasing the stars and the far from the bar. It's like I'm chasing the stars and the far from the bar. I'm chasing that like a North Star.
I'm moving in, inspiring, you lost the shame. My firefly, flying away, nothing contained.
It's like the bar is so low, the bar is so high. You're nothing but a joke, I gotta be the guy. Bar is so low, the bar is so high. You rose to make a joke, don't let me see you cry. Bar is so low, the bar is so high. Nothing but a joke, be the guy. Bar is so low, the bar is so high. Make a joke, don't let me see you cry. I'm chasing the stars and the far from the bar. I'm chasing the stars and the far from the bar. It's like I'm chasing the stars and the far from the bar. I'm chasing that like a North Star. I'm chasing the stars and the far from the bar. I'm chasing the stars and the far from the bar. It's like I'm chasing the stars and the far from the bar. I'm chasing that like a North Star. I'm chasing the stars and the far from the bar. I'm chasing the stars and the far from the bar. I'm chasing the stars and the far from the bar. I'm chasing that like a North Star. I'm chasing the stars and the far from the bar. I'm chasing the stars and the far from the bar. I'm chasing the stars and the far from the bar. North Star. Bar is so low, the bar is so high. The bar is so close, I'm in the bar tonight. Bar is so low, the bar is so high. The bar is so close, we in the bar tonight. Bar is so low, the bar is so high. The bar is so close, I'm in the bar tonight. Bar is so low, the bar is so high. The bar is so close, we in the bar tonight.
Awesome, thanks for listening to this demo track that I created in just 48 hours. Now let's get to our final point. Whether you prefer to express more masculinity or femininity, men tend to like strength. There's strength from having muscle, but there's also strength in being a bottom who's proud that his booty can take lots of penetration. Having a strong appearance through your wardrobe. Slaying connotes strength. To slay is to kill. Having a strong personality, even if it's loud and flamboyant. There's strength in numbers, keeping a gaggle of gays around you. Gay and queer men want to feel strength over those who've grounded us, to quote Wicked, to take the reins back on our lives and fly about how we want. If this resonates with you, remember that there are various types of strength beyond gym strength this summer. Even if all your friends are doing it, it takes strength and bravery to deviate and stand out from your gay peers. So, muscles don't make the man, neither do the clothes or the hair. Character does, presence does, purpose does. Please share in the comments your experiences with masculinity or femininity, particularly over the summertime. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Happy Pride, guys. This is Camp.